Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and join our Facebook community for epic weekly giveaways. What's up, Airsofters? This is the 9mm PCC AEG you've all been waiting for. The baddest looking PDW in the universe, the EMG Noveske Space Invader. It's no secret that 9mm pistol caliber carbine popularity is on the rise. But in a sea of short-barreled, compact pistol caliber platforms on the market, it takes a little something to stand out. To get the attention of the people, you've got to come out with something out of this world. The Noveske Space Invader is, at its core, a Noveske 9, but turned up to 11. It's got all of the great styling of modern billet AR-style receivers, with all of the size advantages of a compact PCC design. Ambi controls, a short barrel, and plenty of rail space for attachments make it a formidable tool in CQB and indoor environments. Aside from the obvious advantages that make the PCC platform so popular, there are several unique Noveske features that make the Space Invader the coolest thing this side of Uranus. You thought I was going to say Uranus. And it wouldn't be a Noveske product without one of their trademark handguards, this one being their NHR handguard, coming in at just under 6.3 inches. There's enough space here to side mount a light in the M-lock positions and a vertical grip or hand stop in the lower pick rail section. The Space Invader backs up its formidable front end with ergonomics and styling to match. A set of ambidextrous fire controls, bolt, and mag release make this PCC feel equally at home for both right and left-handed shooters. I really like the paddle style mag release. It feels very MP5-like. If that's not your flavor, not a big deal. They've given you an AR style mag release as well. Now pair that with the flared mag well, and that makes mag reloads really easy and efficient. You'll also note that the Space Invader uses a magazine that's fairly common in the real world, but somewhat less common in Airsoft. And by less common, I mean it's never existed before. This is a Colt 9mm stamped metal magazine. Now this straight metal magazine allows for better feeding and more durability in the real counterpart, and breaks with the somewhat mundane modern use of G-style magazines that are often angled backwards. In the box, you'll get a 200-round high-cap magazine with a 45-round mid-cap coming later. Also of note in the box, see this really cool Space Invader patch? The only way to get one is to get a Space Invader. Up top, we've got a set of metal backup iron sights, which are compact and easy to deploy. The top rail, which is level across the upper receiver, and the handguard still allows for plenty of attachment space. And it's the perfect place to throw on an all-new EMG micro red dot sight on a UTG super slim RMR riser, as I've done here. This makes target acquisition and transitioning between targets effortless. Out back, gone is the buffer tube style pistol brace featured on the real Noveske 9, and in its place, a futuristic, ergonomic, and integrated multi-position retractable PDW brace, which blends seamlessly into the styling of the billet style Noveske Gen 3.5 receiver, which does of course feature a full complement of Noveske trades on either side. You'll notice that the Space Invader actually has a slightly different receiver than the Noveske 9 to make room for the rails of the brace. It reminds me, again, a bit of the MP5. I think we can all agree it's a sexy way to do a retractable stock. The great thing about this brace in particular is that it's more compact than throwing a pistol brace on a traditional buffer tube, keeping things nice and tight to the body. Another neat feature about this brace and receiver combo is that the stock does not need to be removed to disassemble the gun or access the battery. The PDW style stock also doubles as the battery storage compartment. You know, I would have liked something that looks like a pistol brace to function like a pistol brace, but the sides of this pistol brace are non-functional. It's like a pistol brace that was designed to look like a pistol brace, but not brace. If you're not a fan of the pistol brace styling, worry not. There is a textured stock pad that will be available separately to keep the same kind of shape, but give you a little bit more texture, ergonomics, and looks. Speaking of the battery compartment, it's accessed by pushing out this pin, which does have a detent, but it's not retained, so don't lose it. Once the pin is out, you can pull off this cap, and inside you'll find a Dean's connector, or Airsoft T-plug. There will be a specific battery available soon that will be able to fit inside the standard sized battery compartment of the Space Invader. Let's be honest, it's a really small battery compartment out of the box in this configuration, and the battery tube extension is an absolute must if you intend to use anything larger than the specific battery we used here, which you really have to cram in there. With the extension, just about any buffer tube style battery is no problem. Simply remove that pin, remove the existing cap, insert the stock extension, and then you've got plenty of space for a traditional buffer tube style battery. Speaking of buffer tubes, this receiver has internal threads to accept any APS style buffer tube. So if you wanted to make this look more like a traditional AR pistol or more like the Noveske 9, you can. Just remember that with this design, you need to take the gearbox out before threading on the buffer tube. Otherwise, you risk damaging the wires that pass very close to the threading of that buffer tube portion. Not a big deal, just a quirk of the design. An ambidextrous sling mount point and the comfortable EMG pistol/motor grip round out the ergonomics and functionality at the back. The EMG motor grip is angled more vertically than a traditional A2 grip. Now, personally, I find it really comfortable to shoulder and transition between targets on the Space Invader. And that's helped in part by the 4 extendable positions on the stock brace thing. Ultimately, it fits really comfortable into the shoulder pocket, and that more vertical pistol/motor grip means less strain on your wrist. This baby screams for close quarter engagements, which is great because it chronos right at 330 FPS, making it perfect for mount environments. And that's mount, not mount. I think the only thing that could make it even better is a 45-90 select fire switch as opposed to the full 90-180. Now that we've covered the external features that make the Space Invader so unique, let's take a look under the hood. Wait, do spaceships have hoods? Or do they call them bonnets? Or maybe they're... The eSilverEdge 2 gearbox has a lot to offer, and the Space Invader comes in peace. And with lots of features, including a quick change spring, which is accessed just by removing the stock assembly. The gearbox is mostly version 2 compatible, with the exception of the selector plate and the trigger. The SDU2.0 chipset allows for easy programming via the switch that you can access through the magazine well. Speaking of the magwell, the hop-up chamber is proprietary with a very interesting design. The BB tube comes apart, but the chamber is solid around the bucking. A very interesting design, to say the least. The inner barrel is made of steel and is only 218 millimeters long, which is pretty short, but it does come all the way to the end of the outer barrel. It's plenty for CQB. Inside the gearbox are standard 18:1 ratio gears on 8mm W cage bearings. These drive a polymer piston with all metal teeth, with the second tooth removed, and includes a ported polymer piston head as well as a thrust bearing. The cylinder is ported, the cylinder head is polymer, and the nozzle is metal with an O-ring. But compression does leave a little bit to be desired here. Our techs recommend replacing the piston head and O-ring to achieve a better air seal. The gearbox shell itself has channels for external wiring and is constructed of an updated alloy that is more crack resistant. Additionally, the whole gearbox has been plated to be smoother and cause less friction. That's where the name SilverEdge comes from. Its whole design is meant to be low resistance. One of the first things you'll notice when shouldering the Noveske Space Invader is how comfortable ergonomically it is, and that makes it really nice to snap fire and pull off really quick shots in succession. And this is made obvious by all of the shots at 50 feet, right in the center of the target, really nice accuracy and grouping. It was a joy to shoot. The difficulty with a short CQB themed weapon like the Space Invader, however, is when you move out to the 100-foot mark, you start to see a much larger spread. That's due in part to barrel length and also the application of hop. And because the Space Invader is mostly standard spec, a barrel upgrade and bucking change are a simple affair. One thing we did notice due to the design of the magazines is their long stick shape, much like early MP5 magazines, required a bit more winding than we were used to with some modern mags. Not a negative, just something to be aware of. So, whether you're defending the Tereshkova Luna base from arachnid attack, or you find yourself on a hostile exoplanet, protecting your mineral deposits from the latest wave of hydralisks, the Noveske Space Invader is sure to make you feel out of this world. Find yours in all three amazing colors: bazooka green, flat dark earth, and galactic black, right here at Evike.com. Thanks for watching. Let's take a look under the hood. Wait, do spaceships have hoods? Or do they call them bonnets? Or maybe they're... Or maybe they're...